In the heart of Mumbai, amidst the bustling streets where the honking of rickshaws merges with the cries of street vendors, lived a young woman named Priya. Life had not been kind to her. Orphaned at a very young age, she had grown up with no one but herself to depend upon. Her tiny one-room dwelling in the crowded lanes of Dharavi was no palace, but it was her sanctuary. Without electricity, without running water, she woke up each morning with a silent prayer to Bhagwan, thankful for another day. Priya was only 24, but the hardships she had faced had made her stronger, not bitter. She believed deeply in the ancient teachings of karma, that every good deed would eventually return, even if the world seemed blind to it. Her small food stall stood under the shade of a large peepal tree on the corner of Lokmanya Tilak Road. With old wooden planks and tin sheets forming the structure, it was nothing grand. But what made it special was Priya's warm smile and the fragrance of her freshly cooked dal, steaming basmati rice, soft chapatis, and spicy samosas that attracted hungry souls passing by. Even though Priya's own slippers were torn and her sari stitched with patches, she never turned away anyone in need. If someone couldn't pay, she still served them with folded hands and a kind namaste. She often whispered to herself, "Seva is my dharma. Bhagwan watches the heart, not the purse." Neighbors would sometimes tease her, "Priya, why do you waste your hard-earned food on these beggars? You have nothing yourself." But she would simply smile. "What I give may be small, but it might be someone else's only meal today." Little did Priya know, her quiet acts of kindness were not unnoticed by the universe. As the Vedas say, when you do good without expectation, the divine will bless you when you least expect it. Soon her life was destined to take a turn that even in her wildest dreams she could never have imagined. And it all began the day a strange old man in a broken wheelchair appeared in front of her stall. From that very day, the old man became a silent fixture near Priya's tiny stall. Each afternoon, just as the sun bathed the city in golden rays, his creaky wheelchair would slowly roll into its familiar spot under the peepal tree. The people passing by would often wrinkle their noses or whisper among themselves, "Arre, this dirty old beggar again." Some children would giggle and run past him, covering their faces. The man's frail legs were tightly wrapped in soiled bandages. His kurta was torn and stained. His beard was long and unkempt, dust clinging to every strand. Yet his eyes, though tired, carried a strange depth, as if holding secrets untold. He never begged, never raised his hand. He simply sat silently, head bowed, like a man who had accepted life's harsh fate. But Priya saw something different. One afternoon, as she was serving hot dal chawal to a rickshaw driver, she noticed him again. Her heart softened instantly. She quickly scooped a generous portion of steaming rice, poured thick dal over it, added 2 small pieces of aloo sabzi, and walked towards him. "Shri Sharma ji," she greeted him respectfully, folding her hands. "Please have some food." The old man lifted his head slowly, his voice weak yet steady. "Betty, you are giving me food again. This must be your own meal." Priya smiled gently. "Bhagwan provides for all, Sharma ji. Mai, if I cannot share my food, then what is the meaning of seva?" He took the plate with trembling hands. His eyes glistened, but no tears fell. In a soft whisper, he said, "May Bhagwan bless you, Priya." The nearby vegetable seller, Meena Auntie, shook her head, calling out, "Priya, you'll ruin yourself feeding these beggars." But Priya simply replied, "Auntie, when we leave this world, we cannot carry gold or riches. Only our deeds follow us." Days turned into weeks. Each day, Sharmaji returned quietly. And each day, Priya fed him with the same warmth. Others ignored him, but for Priya, he was not invisible. She saw not a beggar, but a fellow human being deserving of dignity. Little did she know that the wheels of destiny had already begun to turn, and very soon, her simple act of kindness would awaken something much greater than she could ever imagine. One morning, as the first rays of Surya Dev, the sun god, touched the streets of Mumbai, Priya opened her small stall like every other day. She cleaned her wooden counter, lit the small diya lamp she always kept near the food, and offered a short prayer. Bhagwan, blessed today with peace and kindness. As the hours passed, Priya's eyes kept glancing down the road, expecting to see the familiar sight of Sharmaji's wheelchair slowly approaching. But that day he did not come. By noon, a strange unease gripped her heart. She asked Meena, Auntie, did you see Sharma ji today? Meena waved her hand dismissively. Ari beta, maybe he's sleeping somewhere else today. Who knows with these people? But Priya's worry deepened. She asked the chaiwala, the rickshaw drivers, even the small children playing nearby. Have you seen the old man with the wheelchair today? Everyone shook their heads. No one had seen him. 2 days passed, then 3. Still, there was no sign of Sharmaji. Priya could barely eat. Each time she served a customer, her eyes would drift towards the empty spot under the peepal tree. Her heart whispered anxiously, Where are you, Sharmaji? Are you safe? Nisi. On the 4th day, as she was slicing onions with trembling hands, a sleek black SUV suddenly stopped right in front of her humble stall. A well-dressed man in a cream-colored kurta and golden-bordered dupatta stepped out. His face was serious, his eyes sharp. Without a word, he handed Priya a sealed brown envelope. Confused, Priya asked, Gee, what is this? The man spoke softly, almost like a command. Read it carefully, and tell no one. Before she could say anything else, the man returned to his car and drove off swiftly. Looking left and right to ensure no one was watching, Priya slowly opened the envelope. Inside was a single folded note with only a few words. Come to the Taj Palace Hotel at 4 p.m. Do not inform anyone. From a friend. Priya's hands trembled, her heart pounded. Bhagwan, what is happening? She whispered. Though fear gripped her, something deep inside told her. Destiny was knocking on her door. At exactly 3:30 p.m., Priya stood outside her tiny food stall, her heart pounding like a temple drum. She locked the wooden door, whispered a prayer under her breath. Bhagwan, be with me. She hailed an auto rickshaw and softly told the driver, Priya, Taj Palace Hotel. The journey through Mumbai's busy streets felt longer than usual. As the auto weaved through the honking traffic, Priya clutched the brown envelope tightly, her mind racing with endless questions. Upon arrival, she stood frozen before the Grand Hotel. The tall glass windows sparkled like diamonds, and guards in white uniforms stood at attention. Priya had never stepped into such a place. A security guard approached politely. Madam, whom are you here to meet? With trembling hands, Priya showed him the note. The guard glanced at it and smiled softly. Ah, you are expected. Please follow. Soon, a man in a black sherwani arrived and led her through marbled hallways, past grand chandeliers and flower arrangements that filled the air with sweet jasmine fragrance. Finally, they stopped before a tall wooden door. Please go inside, madam. He is waiting for you, the man said, opening the door. Taking a deep breath, Priya stepped in. And there he was, sitting in a polished wheelchair, wearing an elegant white kurta with golden embroidery, neatly combed hair, and a shining wristwatch. It was Sharmaji, but not the beggar she had known. He looked powerful, dignified, almost royal. Her voice quivered as she gasped. Sharmaji, is that really you? The man smiled warmly. Yes, Priya, but my real name is Rajesh Sharma. Confused, Priya whispered. But you were... He nodded gently. I was never truly crippled. I'm a businessman. A billionaire. Priya sat down slowly, still trying to comprehend. Rajesh Sharma continued. For many years, I disguised myself to seek hearts that are pure. People often help when they expect something in return or for praise. But you, Priya, you helped without any expectation. He paused, his voice filled with emotion. That is why you are here today. Priya's eyes welled up with tears. She could barely speak. I only did what my heart felt was right. Rajesh smiled kindly. And that pure heart has brought you to your destiny. Rajesh Sharma smiled as he stood up slowly from the wheelchair. Priya gasped. You You can walk? He nodded softly. Yes, Priya. I was never truly disabled. It was all part of my test. Still trembling, Priya whispered, But why such a test? Rajesh's eyes turned gentle. In this world, people often show kindness when there's an audience or a reward waiting. But true Siva, true kindness, is what you offered. You gave when you yourself had little. He paused and continued. Every year I search for a soul like yours, and when I find them, I give them not just wealth, but the means to uplift others. Priya's eyes filled with tears. She folded her hands. Bhagwan has been kind to me. Rajesh gestured toward the door. Come, Priya. There is something I want to show you. They walked down to the grand hallway, accompanied by two men in black suits. Outside, a convoy of black luxury SUVs waited. The shining cars reflected the sunlight like polished mirrors. One of the men opened the door. Rajesh said gently, Please, sit. As the convoy moved through the clean streets of South Mumbai, Priya remained silent, watching the world outside. The busy markets, the honking taxis, the tall skyscrapers, everything seemed surreal. After nearly 30 minutes, the cars turned onto a peaceful lane. Ahead stood a magnificent building, tall and shining, with grand glass walls, golden handles, and blooming marigold flowers at the entrance. Priya's mouth opened in shock. Above the entrance was a glowing signboard. Priya's Rasoi, the royal taste. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she read the name again and again, unable to believe her eyes. Rajesh stepped forward, holding out a set of golden keys. This is yours now, Priya. Your kindness built this. From today, you are not just the owner of a restaurant, but a symbol of how compassion changes destinies. Overwhelmed, Priya fell to her knees, covering her face as tears of gratitude poured down. I don't know what to say. Rajesh smiled. You don't need to say anything. Your heart has already spoken. Months passed. Priya's Rasoi, the royal taste, soon became one of the most admired restaurants in Mumbai. Businessmen, film stars, and even foreign tourists visited to experience its rich flavors and peaceful ambiance. The sparkling chandeliers, marble floors, and golden decor created an atmosphere of royalty. But Priya remained the same humble soul. Inside her private office, her name gleamed on a golden nameplate. Yet, she often stood near the window, gazing down at the streets, remembering where she once stood, barefoot, with her small wooden stall under the peepal tree. One morning, her manager knocked gently on her door. Madam, the food trucks are ready. Priya smiled warmly. Let's go. Outside, a line of white food vans stood waiting. Written on the sides were bold golden letters. Annapurna Siva, feeding with love. Every week, Priya's food trucks moved across Mumbai, to slums, orphanages, temples, and under railway bridges, feeding hundreds of hungry souls. Her team distributed hot dal, rice, fresh chapatis, and sweet halwa with devotion. As she personally handed food to a barefoot child, one of her workers asked softly, Madam, even with so much success, why do you still do this? Priya looked up at the morning sun, her voice gentle. Because kindness brought me here, and kindness must flow from here. The worker smiled, folding his hands in respect. High above, as the sun's golden rays blessed the city, Priya whispered silently, Thank you, Bhagwan. Thank you, Rajesh Ji, for seeing my heart. The camera of destiny slowly zoomed out, capturing the city's chaos and Priya's quiet Siva in perfect harmony, reminding the world once again, true kindness never goes unrewarded. When given from the heart, it returns when you least expect it.